coming to you live here, waiting for Jaime to join in like we do every week because we have a couple of places where we post this information. So as soon as he joins in, we will be live talking about, I'll let you guess. It should say in the title what we're talking about. All right, here's Jaime. Go ahead and approve that. And Jaime should be coming on. As always, let us know where you're tuning in from so we can see where you're tuning in from. And also let us know if you can hear us okay. Let me know if you can hear me. Jaime, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay.
Fantastic. All right.
How are we?
I think we're good. We're letting people comment, letting us know where they're coming from. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this topic today, Jaime.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Good, because I know I am. It's like they better be, or else this is what we're talking about, or else
this is what's going on today.
It's going to be a boring hour.
There you go. So I've adjusted my view a bit here for the viewers that are coming on. So Jaime always says, where did you move? Did you change offices or what's going on? Because I often change my angle of the view here. But I wanted to change it this time, mainly because I had to, because my boom arm was jacked up. But I think it worked out pretty well. This might be the future of what the podcast looks like from my end of things.
I dig it. You got some skyline back there. You got some
there you go.
Professional artwork. I mean, what else?
JW Marriott, priceless art painting back here. Nice fake IKEA plant. This is a real plant, by the way. This is a nice real plant. I've been able to keep alive with the help of the office assistants, but it's worked out well. All right, so do we need to share any of this information anywhere else? Again, those of you who are coming in, let us know if you've joined us before in the past, or where you're coming from. We want to be able to see you, know you. I'm going to stop right there because there are other words that will come out of my mouth that unintentionally, because it just seemed like a nice transition flow there, but I won't say those things.
Yeah, we don't want to get sued again, Joseph.
Yeah,
we don't want that again.
Keep my words to myself. Keep my words to myself. Sweet, all right, Jaime, you want to jump into what we're talking about today?
Let's do it. All right. Well, welcome to the Agent Lead Source Podcast, episode 23, the Jordan number. That's fantastic. So episode 23, we are covering the most overlooked platform for real estate lead generation today. And when we say it's the most overlooked, it is absolutely the most overlooked. I challenge you to find a platform with as much upside, with as much untapped potential when it comes to real estate lead generation than YouTube. I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a second. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to give you anything. It is just a fact. So I challenge you. If you think it's TikTok, it's not. If you think that it's YouTube, it's not. If you think that my camera just went out, it did. So if you're on YouTube, that's what's happening. So Joseph,
there it goes.
I don't know. What do you think? Are we just being salacious, or do you think that there's something here when it comes to YouTube?
No, I think there is something there. The reason I say that is because, okay, I'll give you an example. So I have one of my agents that I work with that's in our virtual assistant program, and she's been with us for several years, and she does a fantastic job. She's out of Arizona. I won't drop her name here, but if you are looking to buy a house in Arizona, even as a real estate agent, and you need a referral partner out there, let me know and I'll connect you with her. But anyway, she posted the other day, and she posted a video about, and some of you will know about this particular program. The program is called Home Partners of America, which is essentially, you can't say, I don't think you call it rent to own, but I think it's lease with the right to purchase. She posted a video about that, and within a day or two, I think she had 2 people reach out to her, right? That's one thing that she did completely for free. Of course, it took some time to create the video or whatever, a little bit of time, but she has 2 potential people looking at that program or looking to buy houses in Arizona. So think about all the things that you do on a daily basis, how much time you spend, how much money you spend. That video that she did that generated those 2 leads, as we've talked about before, Jaime, as far as untapped market, that video is going to be there in perpetuity, if you will, and it's going to be a lead generation source for her off of one video, right? And so it's just going to continue to play over and over and over again in front of our market. So to answer your question, very underutilized, in my opinion.
I dig it. And you hit on really the one point that really got me looking at YouTube in perpetuity and really tripled down this year, and actually starting last year, but really it's this year when I really tripled down personally, it's that perpetuity aspect where it's not going away. It's a search engine. If you think of YouTube that way, you're absolutely going to think about it in a completely radical, completely different way. A little bit different than Facebook. We're used to posting on Facebook, but guess what? After a week, nobody cares. Nobody's going to find it. On YouTube, it's completely different. Your first week, nobody cares. Nobody's going to find it, but then it will, because if you do the things that we're going to share in this podcast, you will get your videos to rank. You will get people viewing it, and you will get people reaching out to you. And all you had to do was spend $0. So the platform is absolutely free. You can upload 1 hour's worth of content a month, or you can upload 1,000 hours worth of content. It's absolutely free. And speaking to your point, the original point that we were making, you make it once and you're done, and it's growing. It's a fantastic tool that still to this day is heavily underutilized, and it's a platform that's going to be around for a while.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. Right. And so, as somebody, I think we're starting to have people comment on this, right? Because they want to understand how this whole YouTube process works. It is, even if you live in a small town, you're still going to have the ability to reach other people. And Leon just replied to this, says yes, most searched, watched after Google, who owns them, LOL. So basically, whenever people are searching for certain keywords in your market, you can be the person they're searching for. Now, there are a lot of companies that, tell you that you should pay them and they'll help you do all the syndication and stuff. Reality is, because there's so few real estate agents that are doing it, you're going to be at the top of the page anytime somebody's searching for something, because YouTube and videos are going to be the things that Google is going to start putting front and forward compared to anything else that's out there, even before a lot of blogs and a lot of paid ads, right? The next thing that comes up is going to be the video. And so now people get to know you, like you, trust you. So I don't know if there's any other platform that does this. Even Facebook business pages, it's not even close. Even Facebook groups, which are a community thing. YouTube there's nothing that comes close to what they're able to do. Right. So I believe in it. But as Jaime said, the first week, first month, maybe the first 3 or 4 months, nobody's going to know you, even know who you are. Right. But we'll talk about a strategy to help get you to grow your channel really, really fast.
Yeah. The last thing we want to really highlight, there's the big three: free, it's a one and done model. And then really something that is going to differentiate yourself from the rest is that it builds credibility. It establishes authority within your niche. You may not necessarily think or see it that way, but it really does. There's something powerful of you willing to get in front of the camera and sharing information that you know. And it's sharing information that you are going to share with anybody that calls, anybody that you meet in front of, anybody that you do a listing presentation with. It's information that you already are doing right now. The only difference is you're speaking into a electronic device, maybe doing a little bit of editing, uploading it, and boom, it's right there. It's just a phenomenal way to advertise, and it's a great way for you to establish credibility. So, I mean, it's just you become the person. You're gonna have people reaching out to you and saying, "Hey, I can't believe you answered."
Thank you for responding back to me, person on the internet. Jaime, if you don't mind, what I'll do right now is I'll jump in and I will actually give a tip on those people who are out here watching right now. That way you can get some quick value out of this, folks, on how to grow your YouTube channel very quickly, right? And so what typically will happen is a lot of people will actually go in and try to get their YouTube channel, and they'll just start posting information, and they stop doing that because they're not getting the views, as we talked about. So here's a strategy. You create your YouTube channel and you have an intro video or whatever video you want people to see. What you do is you go into these Facebook groups. I did this just this week because I was like, all right, I want to see how fast I can grow this YouTube channel. I think we're like at almost 40 subscriptions in like 48 hours or something like that, right? It's not bad to like a subscription an hour. One new subscriber per hour. I go into the groups and then I say, hey, who's interested in real estate? Who's interested in new construction? Who's interested in selling your house for top dollar or whatever, right? And then I send them a message, and the first message that I send them is usually a video of me talking, like, "Hey, hi Amit, thank you so much." I don't say names. I'm like, "Hey, thank you so much for commenting on my post. By the way, I have a YouTube channel that explains a lot of this. Would greatly appreciate if you would subscribe to it, and you'll get the information that you want." And then I send another message that says, and this is just a text message, and it says, "Hey, by the way, if you have something I can support, I would love to support you as well. Do you have a YouTube channel, Instagram, business page, Facebook business page?" And so what I'm doing is I'm doing an exchange, right, for them subscribing to my channel. By the way, they're in my market. I want that type of person to be subscribed to me to get to know, like, and trust me. And then I also get to see their business stuff as well. So that relationship builds very quickly, but I've also started building my YouTube channel and my viewers a lot faster, right? So that's a quick tip for those of you who are like, if I start a YouTube channel, who's going to watch it? I just told you how to go find people to watch your YouTube channel, right?
That's fantastic.
Hopefully that's helpful.
And Joseph, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, awesome. Sorry, just did a quick switch on the mic. So that is a fantastic way to grow your reach organically, but beyond that, grow your reach to people that actually matter. There's some strategies such as the sub for sub that you're going to hear about in other places. You're not going to necessarily hear about that here, because the sub for sub is a great way for you to take your channel. I'll admit, very early on, I did that and it sucked. So it wasn't necessarily, you're not attracting people that are going to use you. You made a fantastic point that people don't need to overlook. These are people that you want to be connected with anyway. These are individuals, business owners, friends, family, whomever. You want these folks to see you. They're your market. They're your clientele. They're people that you can potentially help. So going back to the original point, you're building credibility within the people that actually matter. So that strategy right there is a great way to get subscribers. Now, to go onto the subscriber talk for one quick second, subscribers are super important at the beginning, but they're not everything. Sometimes we make we almost validate ourselves on, hey, I'm only as good as my subscriber count. And really that's the wrong way to view it, because that's a very good way to get depressed. Especially since you're not going to grow as quickly as everybody wants. It doesn't matter who you speak to. It just doesn't happen. So the subscriber count is awesome because, or people that subscribe is because many of them will get notifications. Not all. Works very similar like Facebook groups and Facebook pages. You don't get notifications every time somebody makes a post or something changes in those groups, but it at least gives YouTube an opportunity to send out notifications to a select amount of people that are subscribed to you. So that's a key distinction. Now, it doesn't mean that everyone's going to get a notification, but it also doesn't mean that nobody's going to get it. It's just, it gives your channel at least a leg up whenever you upload a video that, hey, I at least know that some people are going to be made aware of it. So I'll get a few views here and there and it'll start building.
Yeah. So Jaime, can you tell, so Jaime, by the way, congratulations, 14,000 subscribers as of yesterday. Is that right? Or this morning?
Yeah.
Major congrats to you on that. Big deal, very big deal. So talking about subscriber numbers. So let's talk, Jaime, how long have you been doing your specific YouTube channel that now has 14,000 subscribers? I think it's important for people to understand the timing of all of this, right? Can you give everybody an idea of your time frame that it took to go from 0 to that number?
Yeah, that's a very important question. So August of 2018 is when I started my channel. That's when I started publishing. 2019, I would say I put out maybe 90 videos or so. So within that time span. So it wasn't, I wasn't super active, but I also wasn't, it's basically two
dormant.
And that's, that's
Yeah.
basically 2 a week. But in 2020, it's been every single day. Every day is when I've uploaded a video.
Yeah. And so as we talk about this, right, Jaime obviously has a nice background and things like that and looks really nice. But it takes one camera, right, one lens, and then a little bit of color in your background. And then all you have to do is just talk about the things that are interesting to you that your market might be interested in. And if you're doing that, then people are going to continue to come back, right? And as they continue to come back, then your channel starts to grow very quickly, right? Somebody just asked, what's your channel name? You're just going to increase from 14,000 to 14,000 and some more.
I dig it. I'm so creative. It's actually called Jaime Resendez. I was
Awesome.
very creative with my name. So it's Jaime Resendez. Actually, Jaime Resendez Marketing. I just made that change. So
Awesome.
let's talk about channel name as that comes up. That's a very that there's a very simple hack that you can use that's going to help you out. But also with the channel name, you want to identify who you are. That's going to really help you out. You also want to identify where you're working. So that can look like Jaime, your Dallas Fort Worth realtor. Very much that simple. Now, the great thing about that naming convention, again, detailing who you are, basically what you do, and then also geographic, if you tie to the geography, is you make it very clear of where you play. You make it very clear of where you're working. That's also not only from a clarifier, it gives perspective and clarity to your audience that you speak to, but it also gives people an opportunity to find you a lot easier from an SEO perspective, which brings us to the earlier point that YouTube is a search engine. So when somebody types in Dallas Fort Worth realtor, well, you have such you have it actually in your channel name. Who do you think they're going to prioritize? That's very powerful, and people overlook that.
I love that, Jaime. I love how you're telling people, like, it's, you are creating a channel specifically for your market, right? If those of you who are watching this, you're a real estate agent or whatever else, like people on the podcast who watch or that have other niches, you're creating your channel based on your location because that's where you get your business from, right? Now, if you're interested in other stuff and you're creating a channel for other things, it doesn't have to be geographical. But for this particular purpose, you do want it to be geographical, right? And so, which I think leads into types of videos, which somebody asked that question, what type of content should I be posting in order to attract the right type of people? And so I gave you an example earlier, but I think we can go a little bit more in detail, Jaime, about real estate agents and what type of content they should post in order to attract buyers and sellers. And I'll let you go ahead and give one of the topics that you think would be, highly interesting that would bring people in. And then I'll give another example and we can just kind of bounce ideas for everyone so they can see what we're, ideas to go off of. And by the way, those of you who are watching, you can comment ideas that you have so other people can see them as well.
Yeah. And also, if you want a channel audit, Joseph and I would absolutely love to do that. So this is one of those rare instances where we do encourage you to drop a link. Oftentimes we don't. So right now would be a fantastic time for you to do that. And if it takes us hours to do it, we're more than happy to help out. So if you have a YouTube channel, now would be a fantastic time to pick some of our brains, if you will, by us having us review it for absolutely free, simply as being a value add for being here live with us. If it's after the fact, then it'll just depend. If you're listening to this in the podcast, if you send me the link on a DM, I may not reply. But anyway, when it comes to I forgot my point as I was getting to that video ideas. So one of my favorite ones is moving to X, Y, and Z city. So moving to Dallas. Those types of videos are absolutely phenomenal because you get to craft the narrative. You get to create the story. You get to create what you want to share. Moving to videos look drastically different. If you do it and I do it, it's going to look night and day. It's going to look different because you have different values with your family and what you're looking for. You may be looking for parks. You may be looking for, I don't know what you family people look for. Schools, you're looking for daycare. You're looking for different aspects than somebody like me that doesn't have a family. So you get to craft your own narrative, but you're speaking to a certain audience that's going to naturally gravitate towards you anyway. There's going to be people that identify with you, and YouTube's algorithm will automatically trigger that, and it's going to put your video in front of people that are going to be most likely to watch. It's not necessarily to do you a favor. I don't want to give that impression that YouTube is going to go out of its way to really make your life so much easier. It's going to do itself a favor by getting more watch time. We were talking about that before we came on in why they do certain things and why they did it this week more specifically. But moving to videos are fantastic, giving people an idea what it's like to move to Texas. There's like a 6-lane highway from California to Texas right now, 6-lane highway from New York to Florida. So that is a type of video that I highly encourage every real estate agent to do in their particular market, because it gets views. It gets a ton of views. It doesn't matter if you're in California, Washington, New York, Colorado, Texas, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great point, right? Moving to a certain city, you want to know certain things, and those things may not be easy to find, right? Especially if you're just searching the internet, there may be too many of those things. But if there's somebody in a video explain it to you, you're like, oh, this person's taking the time to do that. They obviously know the area, so you can be that person for the people that are searching for that. One video that I would probably do is I like the top 5, top 10 type things. So example would be like top 5 things to know before buying a house, right? Or top 3 ways to save money, top 5 ways to save money when buying a house in X city. I always want to put the city, right? Or zip code. Top 10 schools in whatever city, top 3 junior highs, right? Like, as you think about this content, you think about what the people who are going to be buying or selling houses are interested in. You make the videos about those things, and it's going to drive home a point to them to show them exactly what they want, right? Because I'm all about client attraction. I'm all about understanding how to attract people, and that's the type of videos that I enjoy, that I think a lot of other people would enjoy. So anything I can do to attract and touch on people's interest will bring them in, and I think they'll watch those videos a little bit longer. Which, as Jaime stated, the longer they watch the videos, because they want to get to number 1 through 5, they're going to continue to watch the video to the end, right? And which I think we'll talk later on about, how to keep people watching a video longer as well. But yeah, that's one of the ones I would do.
One of the ones so kind of jumping on that, as we're talking about video ideas, want to give as many as we possibly can. One of the series that you can actually do is something that you tipped me off to, which was the cost of living.
Yeah.
Cost of living videos are super important, especially now in the, in the situation that we're in, given that some people, there's, some instability in what employment's going to look like now and in the future. There's some instability on if they're going to be able to stay where they're presently at. So cost of living is very important for a lot of people. And it's something that you can absolutely provide clear guidance on what it looks like in San Antonio. What is the cost of living? You can just select the top 5 most expensive things when it comes to living within that particular area, whether that's gas prices, whether that's you have your basic groceries, whether that's egg, milk, you pick your core things that you want to cover in every single city, and just make a video about that, and make a video about the cities that are surrounding the big city. I don't know San Antonio that well, so you might need to help me there, but I know that in Dallas, you have Plano, you have Garland, you have Frisco, you have McKinney, you have all these other cities. So you can just make an entire series around that cost of living.
That's like 6 videos right there, right? Yeah. And it's not, so here's the important part about the cost of living video. So I was doing some research on this, and I was asking Jaime what he thought on this process of doing cost of living videos, because I was auditing some other agents' cost of living videos, and those videos have like 3,000 views. That means there are 3,000 people who are thinking about buying a house, or at least interested in the cost of living in a particular city. And that's just about every one of these videos that I've seen that are like this. And essentially all it is, it's like me sitting here. I am talking about the cost of living in Austin, Texas, what the electricity typically costs. And you can go online, you can search this information, and then you can pull it up. Electricity, maybe the cost of gas, as Jaime said, groceries, maybe the difference in living in an apartment versus living in a house. If you're renting a house, what that cost looks like. And so then you create your video, you're talking about these things, you have the information in front of you, you record the video, pop in a little screen of, the actual numbers and where you got the information from, make a video. It takes, the video is 5 minutes long. And now you can do that for all the cities around you or the little towns around you. And now you've got all this content that people are interested in, with your link in the description. By the way, if you're looking to buy a house, click the link down below to visit my website, or to visit a landing page, or whatever have you. And so that's how you generate leads using YouTube. But as Jaime just stated, you can create 5 or 6 videos like that in a day and then post them once per week to continue to grow your YouTube channel subscription model, right? And so, or subscribers. And by the way, again, going back to the Facebook thing, say, is anybody interested in the cost of living in whatever city next to us, right? And whenever people say yes, you send them a video and they go to your channel and hopefully they subscribe.
Yeah. And the comment, I'll stick with the comment that you just made about commenting, ironically enough. You're a really good person to learn from when it comes to engaging content and how to get engagement, because you have a way of involving people in the process. And I'll give you one example that kind of I just screwed up with. So I put the cart before the horse. So I had the option to receive a gift myself, which we are going to give away here on the podcast, which is either a microphone or a smart stand with a ring light, I believe was it. Yeah. I thought you, the audience, was going to appreciate the microphone a lot more. So I ended up claiming the microphone before Joseph gave the brilliant suggestion of asking you, the audience. And for whatever reason, it was like 20-1 that you prefer the ring light and the smartphone holder. So I actually have to buy one now and do whatever the hell I'm going to do with that microphone. But all of that to say is
another giveaway.
To your point. Yeah, exactly. So 2 giveaways. But back to the point, there is a point behind this, that when you ask questions out to your community, you can involve them in the process, and goes back to having a conversation. That's where the lead is. So even before you hit record, if you post a question out there on your newsfeed in a group and you're getting all these comments, it's a great entry point into a conversation. Hey, thanks so much. Why do you value gas price so much? Whatever it happens to be. I mean, I'm just making up examples at this point, but whenever somebody comments, getting in their DMs and asking a bit more questions. Well, I value parks because when I moved here, there was no parks in sight, and I'm actually looking to move to a place that's a little bit closer.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Turns out I'm a realtor. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So
It's
that type of, exactly. It's that type of bait that you can throw out there, but then you go on and have that market research. So you bring back the finished product. Hey, thanks so much for that advice. As you can see here, I made it a point to include parks. I made it a point to include dry cleaners. I made it a point to include X, Y, and Z. So it's a way to evolve your videos.
Yeah, it's simple questions, and we've talked about this before on different podcasts, but it's asking simple questions. So whenever Jaime sent me that, and we're talking about this, and he was like, "Which one do you think people would suggest?" I was like, "Oh, I would ask them," right? And the reason I do that is because people will tell you exactly what they want, right? You do the same thing, and kind of talk about what Jaime and piggyback on what Jaime said. You go into your local Facebook groups and you say, hey, what do you think would be a popular YouTube video for our market, for San Antonio, right? What do you think people would be interested in knowing this is a good question. This is actually a great question. Hey, what do you think people should know if they're getting ready to move to Austin, Texas? Hey, what do you think people should know if they're getting ready to move to Dallas, Fort Worth, or Plano, or whatever city? People are going to tell you what they think people should know. And guess what? You take that, you repackage it, and you make a video about it. If you're thinking of moving to Dallas, here's what you should know. Or before moving to Dallas, watch this video, right? And so, those are clickbait titles, but the whole point is to get people to click on what they're interested in, right? And so now your customer base, your local market has told you what people should know if they're thinking about moving to the market. So it's really simple to get ideas so that you can post them. Same thing here. If somebody asks, what content should I post? Well, that shouldn't be your question. Your question should be, hey, you go to this Facebook group and say, hey, who has created YouTube videos? What's your most popular one, right? And then you go look at what they created and then create it for your market. And so it's like just understanding how things that have worked and what people want. And if you can do that and you ask yourself that question every single time, what do people want? How do I find out what they want? And then you go do that. Then you'll understand how to create your content for your YouTube channel.
I dig it. I dig it. Well, speaking about creating content, I think that we did some good job a really good job highlighting some ideas, and some more will be introduced as we continue the podcast. One of the questions that Melanie brings up is, what are some parts of the process? So she's asking for, what does the process look like? I have a very simple process, and it's how you're going to remember it is Boss Red. So BOSRED. So it's Boss Red. That's my system. You saw it. You've seen it several times, Joseph, where I showed you my Trello board, and it's very simple. So it's brainstorming. That's the B. Optimizing, scripting, recording, editing, and distributing. So I'll repeat that again. Brainstorming. This is where you come up with some ideas. You can do this in one sitting, or you can do this throughout the week. Whenever you have an idea, boom, write it down, put on your Trello board, on your Evernote, on a notepad, wherever you brainstorm, just put it there. So file it away for later. Optimizing. Optimizing means making it searchable on YouTube. So there's plenty of tools out there. You can use something like, I guess in this case, it's okay to mention these resources, Joseph. I'm hesitant to share resources because you know how I like getting paid by sponsors that don't exist on this podcast yet. We're episode 23, Joseph. Where's our sales department? I'm starting to lose faith in Pat, but we're going to go ahead and say some free shout out. We'll collect checks later. vidIQ and TubeBuddy. vidIQ and TubeBuddy are extensions that you can tie directly to your YouTube channel and are going to help you optimize your titles. So that's the optimizing part. Scripting, you don't have to write out an entire script if you don't want to. If you feel better, more comfortable, it's going to provide confidence when you're recording, great, do it. But simple bullet points and a structured approach to it is all you need. Recording. So that's when you record, whether you're on location or you're doing a talking head video, which is what we're doing right now. Shoot the record button or press the record button and you're on your way. E stands for editing. So that's when you do the editing. You can do the editing yourself or hire somebody else to do it. And then distribution basically means uploading to YouTube and share it everywhere. So it's Boss Red, brainstorming, optimizing, scripting, recording, editing, and distributing. That's the process that I use.
Very good. Very good. I mean, I like that and again, it comes down to most businesses fail because they don't have systems. Most ideas fail because there's not a system to that, right? And so this is fantastic for people to take into account and say, oh, there's a system that I can follow. Hyman's giving me that system. One thing I'll say about editing, I think it's probably one of the, after creating, I think editing is probably the most daunting task that most people run into. And so what I'll say about editing is, and what I've learned to do is, I typically have whatever I'm going to say, like Hyman said, in bullet points. I record it, I hit record, and I just record it, right? And then I go back and I drop it into iMovie because I just do really simple editing. And then I just go through and I watch, and wherever I did crappy takes, because you're going to have crappy takes, people. It's going to happen. I delete the crappy takes, and then I just continue deleting the crappy takes, and then I bring all the good stuff together, and then from there I get ready to upload whatever I'm going to upload beyond the other editing. But if you're doing talking head videos, it's not that hard to continue talking, mess up, go back, say whatever you need to say again. And I usually do it in 1 to 2 sentences for me. And I don't know how you do yours, and you can talk about that in just a minute. But I'll record 1 to 2 sentences. Hopefully it sounds good, and then I'll make a cut, and then I'll add on whatever else I'm going to say. So 1 to 2 sentences, add on, and then bring it all together at the end. So that's how I like to do it. I mean, I don't know. I think you might be a little bit better, more professional at the YouTube stuff as far as like being able to say whatever you're going to say for a long time. I don't know if you want to give people an insight on what that looks like.
Not anywhere close to 2 sentences. I do 1. You may think that this finished product is better. No, it's basically the same thing. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because there's this idea that you have to get it all right in the first. I mean, if you saw the outtakes and the F-bombs that go around in the raw edit, that'd be a bad news. I'd get demonetized quickly. It's just the part of the game. Now, here's a tip. Here's a tip that you can implement, and you're going to find that it works 99% of the time. You may look over here. You have another monitor. That's another tip. Have another monitor, but you may 1, 2, 3. Here's what I want to say. Okay, great. And then you say it. I screwed up. Check it over here. Say it. Crap, screwed up.
Yeah.
If that's taking you too long, then go ahead and write it out. Go ahead and
Yeah.
script it all out. It's much better for you to do that and project that confidence than to become so choppy and just get so demoralized, because it can really beat you down. Have a teleprompter. The teleprompters are $20, $30. The good ones
Yeah.
are going to be around 50 or so, but it just depends. You just get a little app, and your actual phone can be a teleprompter, and it'll
Yeah.
go as you're talking. So that's a tip, but I guess that's a second tip. But really, the tip that I wanted to give was, if you're having a hard time recording into the camera, then have either do a screen share. If you're talking about buying a house, maybe put something on a PowerPoint and put your
Hmm.
little head down there next to it, kind of like you're presenting. You're going to find it so much easier leveraging the attention off of you, because it's going to feel like there's no pressure that, hey, I'm just reading and then elaborate on what I'm seeing here on my PowerPoint that I
Yeah.
created. It's just so much easier. So to your point, when the videos that I'm speaking to directly and it's only me on camera, I do no more than 2 to 3 sentences per. But
Yeah.
whenever I have a presentation, or I'm showing people how to do YouTube ads, Facebook, that's all one run. And my editor,
Yeah.
Jasper, absolutely loves those videos, because for him, it's just, I'm going to cut the beginning and I'm going to cut the end, because he just flows through the middle, as opposed to, if I was just doing a straight talking head video, he's going to know that he's going to need to cut it 300 ways.
Yeah. Well, so you bring up another good point as far as tips. If you're doing a video on, let's say, for example, cost of living, right? And as Hyman said, you're just talking about what's there in front of you, or a PowerPoint. One thing you can do is you can have your camera, like Hyman has his camera. I think he uses a Canon M50, if I'm not mistaken, which is a fantastic YouTube camera, by the way. I use a Fuji X-T4. It's a lot more expensive, but I've been buying
Yeah,
cameras for a
it's
long
not a
time and
little
building up.
more expensive, Joseph. It's not a little more expensive.
But I've been buying cameras for a really long time, so building up my cameras. And so what you do is you just put your camera up in front of you, and then as you're reading, you can pull up the cost of living in whatever city, and go to like just a generic website that has that information, and you can talk about it and say, you can introduce yourself. I'm a real estate agent in whatever city, blah, blah, blah. I'm awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then you say, we're going to go into the video now. I'm going to pull up the screen and I'm going to show you the actual cost of living in San Antonio, Texas. So here we go. We're looking at the screen. This is me pretending like we're recording the video so you can see what this looks like live. Hey, all right, so we're looking at the cost of living in San Antonio, Texas. What I see here is the electricity costs on average is XYZ. The cost of gas is XYZ. The cost of whatever is XYZ. If you want to live in an apartment versus a house, let's take a look at that, right? So now I'm talking about the things that I'm seeing. And people are watching and they're going, oh, I never even knew that information existed on the internet. I can go find that. But now you become the source, and all you're doing is just regurgitating the information that's right in front of you. And people are going to be interested in that because they're going, oh, Joseph knows what he's talking about. No, Joseph doesn't. The internet, the people who put this information together and curated know what they're talking about. I'm just regurgitating it. And now I become a trusted source because I'm using that information, which I think most of YouTube is that anyway. It's just understanding the people who are really good, like Jaime, put that information together and they give it back to us in a way that we can understand it, take it in the way that we want to hear it, right? And that's why you get to 14,000 subscribers. That's why you get people who buy houses from people that are on YouTube, right?
Yeah. Well, speaking about the people that actually reach out to you, brought it up earlier, Joseph, and I
Yeah.
think that we really need to circle back on that and really expand upon it, because this is a difference between making videos that get views, and that's fantastic, but there's a difference between just getting views and getting people to reach out to you. It's a
Yeah.
big difference. And what you're going to find yourself, if you're not doing the following item that we're going to share, then you're going to find yourself getting views, and that's fantastic. And maybe you get monetized, and I mean, YouTube pays you a little bit of money, which isn't going to be much, but
Yeah.
you're still not on YouTube to necessarily be a YouTuber. You're on YouTube to get some business. And there's
Yeah.
a great way to do that. The comment that you made earlier, Joseph, about making an offer is overlooked by a lot of agents, And that's the difference between getting views and getting leads. Everybody wants views. That's fantastic. But at the end of the day, you're there to get leads. So
Yeah.
you need to make an offer. And it's very important that we understand that right now, as we make a shift in our business and in the way that we make videos today, because once you fail to make an offer in that video, the moment that you upload it, it's there to stay. You
Yeah.
can't add an offer later. You can't, at least in the video, you can put it in the description.
Yeah.
But if you're not calling people's attention to, hey, go down to the bottom of this video in description, you're going to find a relocation guide. You're going to find the mortgage calculator. You're going to find a refinancing calculator. You're going to find the multiple offers spreadsheet. You're going to find all of these resources. So if you don't call it out in the video, then most people will not go down to the description and go search for whatever it is you call out. So make sure that you have an offer, make sure that you're presenting that offer in your video. And that's going to be a huge difference between getting 1,000 views and 1,000 leads. It's a huge difference. You need to make an offer.
Yeah. And so when Jaime's talking about making an offer, we call those call to action, right? So you need to have a call to action at the end of your video, in the middle, wherever you're going to put your call to action. I suggest at the end, or at the beginning, you can say, hey, if you stay to the end, I'll tell you exactly how to get in contact with XYZ or how to receive XYZ. All right. Now, you'll have some people who will skip to the end, but most people are going to sit there and watch it and be like, man, when is he going to get to the part that I want to know? Right. So what you do at the end is you say, by the way, if you need a real estate agent to help you with some information, please feel free to go down in the comments. You will find the links to XYZ, right? And that's exactly what Jaime is saying. You're telling people what to do. When you're on the internet, you have to tell people what to do or they won't do it, right? And so once you give that power of suggestion to go in the comments or go down into the description, they're going to go there. And not everybody, but the ones that need you, want to work with you, they're going to go find the information they need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's giving that, it's gonna sound unnatural. It's gonna feel unnatural at the beginning, but then it's just going to flow off the tongue. It's gonna feel unnatural again. Just it's almost like it's gonna, at least personally, I felt like I was begging. In a way I kind of was, but it's gonna feel awkward at the beginning because you're making the pitch, you're making the sales to a camera, and it's gonna say, hey, go down to the bottom of the description. It's just gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. Also, something else, it's easy to lose the enthusiasm and energy as you go through the video. So make sure that you're still animated. Make sure that you still have some energy. It may feel like you're off the wall, you're over the top, you're just being so silly and outrageous, but trust me, video is going to peg you down a notch. So if you are acting just like as if Joseph and I, actually, this was just the video and this was only it would be bad on my end because I'm having a conversation with Joseph. This is what the podcast is going to end up being.
Yeah.
But if I was doing this in a different format where I was going to edit this up, then my level's going to go up.
Yeah, your energy level will be totally different. Yeah,
absolutely. Videos has a great way of pegging you down. So make sure that you keep that energy going. It's going to feel animated, but trust that it's going to look just natural and it's expected.
Yeah, so video puts 5 pounds on you and also makes you seem very slow and tired. So just keep that in mind. You suck in your cheeks so you can look skinnier if you want to look skinnier, and also talk a lot, not faster, but just have more energy into your conversation. Jaime, so I want to touch on a point really quick. So I'm getting some messages here on Facebook, and so as we talk about these processes and content to put out there, one thing that would be really cool, and I know it works because somebody just said they have an agent who, or they have a potential seller they just did a CMA with that has $70,000 of equity in their house right now, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to tell you folks how they got this person, and I want you to go do this video. Make it a video on your YouTube channel, okay? All they did was ask people if they owned a home, and then they got in a conversation with one of their friends who owns a home who's thinking about selling in the next 6 months or so. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a video showing how you come up as a real estate agent, how you come up with a CMA, how you create a CMA. So you go to YouTube or you go to your CMA builder or whatever you're going to use, you find a house in the market, maybe one from your brokerage, that's what I suggest, or borrow somebody else's, but you ask permission first. and say, hey, I'm going to show you how a real estate agent professionally comes up with the cost or the value of a home in our market in San Antonio and Dallas and Austin, right? And so you're going to have a lot of people tune into that who are thinking about listing, right? And so what you do is you do the video. Here's how I do a CMA. Here's that you have the screen up. You're just talking over what you're doing. You record that at the end of the video. By the way, if you want me to do a video CMA and send it to you on your house, click the link below, submit your information, your address. I'll reach back out. I'll have the video to you in 24 to 48 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, you will get a listing by doing that because nobody else is doing that right now. And so anyway, Jaime, I just had an agent. Actually, and I'll tell you the other strategy. To get people to go there. You say, hey, is anybody interested in understanding how a real estate agent gets the value of your home in our market, in XYZ market? And then people are going to say yes. And guess what? You send them to the video. And when they get to your YouTube video, then you're going to tell them at the end of the video, click on the link below for me to do this for you, right? So there's a whole funnel for you to get a listing, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't do that, and you're saying, I don't know what content to create, that's your fault, right? Because I just told you how to get a listing. So with that being said, I just had an agent who did this process, except on their Facebook page, they're doing on their personal page, hey, how many of my friends own a home, or how many of my friends are homeowners? She just got off of a call with her friend who she did a live CMA with online. They're going through it. Here's the process. Here's what I'm doing. This is what it looks like. This is why I'm comparing this house versus that house. And this 4-bedroom versus your 4-bedroom, and why this one's more and this one's less. This one just sold. This one's still in the market for 90 days, or has been in the market for 90 days. Bada bing, bada boom. By the way, how much do you own your house? Cool. Oh, here's $70,000 that you could make if you sold your house today, right? And so now they just got a potential listing from a friend who knew they were a realtor, but hadn't reached out to them, right? Until we just taught them to do this particular strategy. So I implore you, I'm trying to teach you how to make money for free by just taking a little bit of time to do something like this. And so if that makes sense, make sure you comment and let us know. But yeah, anyway, we've been proving this strategy out all week, Jaime. And so I just felt like this was a good time to tell people to do this on YouTube.
No, I'm seeing those comments. I'm seeing the snapshots that you send me on DM. So I mean, this is absolutely real. If this doesn't get a like on YouTube, this doesn't get a like on Facebook groups that we're in, I don't know what will. These are fantastic ways for you. They're just proven. I mean, this isn't like theory. This is proven. This is happening. These are folks that are real life getting results. So at least that strategy alone should get us a 5-star rating if you're listening to us on podcast. So now would be a great time to pause the podcast and get that 5-star review and say, Joseph, fantastic strategy. I will get a listing from this. So speak it into being. Pause the podcast right now. 5-star review. If you're listening to us live right now, would be fantastic to hit that like button and hit the heart emoji. There we go.
There you
Get that
go.
one going. That shows
give me
more
some
love.
hearts, ladies and gentlemen. Give me
That's
some
gonna
hearts.
that's gonna give us a lot of boosts. That's gonna give us some good motivation, if you will. So if you want to be part of the conversation, as a reminder, we do this on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central. So make sure that you're either here on Facebook or on the YouTube channel. Just follow us wherever you may find us. It's going to be on YouTube or on Facebook. So no secret there. So make sure that you, if you want to be part of the conversation, it will be linked in the show notes below where you're going to find us Thursdays at 8 p.m. 5-star reviews all day long. Fantastic. Now back to the point that we were talking about, the strategy that you gave out, Joseph. When in doubt, when in doubt, do what Joseph says. That's pretty much going to work. But when in doubt with real estate, what I have found is as you're documenting what you're doing, it's going to, let me rephrase that. When in doubt, document what you're doing and share it with people. I think that's a better way of saying it. When in doubt, document what you're doing and share it with people, whether that's on Facebook, whether that's on YouTube, specifically on YouTube, since that's what we're talking about. But your profession, believe it or not, is coveted by a lot of people. Now, a lot of people see, and the reason being is because a lot of people, when they buy or sell their home, they see a fat commission or a big amount on there. So there's that mystique about your business. We know that it's a little bit harder than showing up to the title company and closing.
And getting a check.
Exactly. So people want to know, what do you do all day? So show them. Show them
Yeah.
what it's like to drive people around. Show them what it's like to do a listing presentation. Show them what it's like to prepare a home to go to market. Show them what it's like, to your point, what a CMA looks like. And if you can involve other people in the process, I'll give you an example.
Hmm.
You can make a video on how to protest your or contest, if depends on how you want to, how you use it, contest or protest your property taxes. Put that on Facebook. Hey, I want to shoot a video on contesting property taxes. Who
Yeah.
wants their property taxes contested for free?
Yeah.
Boom. You're going to
Yeah.
have people that are homeowners. There we go. Let me repeat that again. Homeowners reaching out to you saying, hey, yeah, protest mine. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And you're going to get somebody else that you know is a homeowner at that point. You get to have a good conversation with that individual. You get to make some content around it, establish authority. Goes back to YouTube being a free strategy, goes back to YouTube being a one and done model where you make the video and it gets views later on. You don't have to pick up the phone or get in front of another door and knock on it ever again. This is one way to get leads passively, and it just builds momentum. It just builds momentum.
I mean, I freaking love that strategy, because you tell me how many people don't want to pay less on their taxes, right? Everybody does.
Yeah.
If you can pay less and keep more of your money, you're going to do that. And so with Jaime's thing, the strategy of asking people who wants to protest their taxes and see how I've done it or how I do it, you're going to get people that are interested. And what Jaime just did was he just taught you how to build your home seller or your listing database, right? The people who own homes that you can now help in the future. And then you can send them other content. One thing I'll say about that, Jaime, and documenting it, is if you get somebody and you help them lower their taxes by a really large amount, hey, who would like to watch the video on me helping somebody in our market lower their taxes by X per amount on their house? How many homeowners would like to see this? You want to be very specific to who you're targeting. How many homeowners would like to see how I help Jim save $30,000 on his taxes, right? Or lower his taxes by $50,000 on his house, or lower his home taxes by $100,000, right? So that whatever the cost of the house is, right? So whatever that number is, you do a video on that, and then you're just talking through how you did that. And then people are going to be so interested in seeing how that process works that are homeowners, as Jaime said. And now you're going to have people go to your video and say, by the way, if you want me to do this for you, click the link below, submit your information, and I'll get in contact with you. And now you just created leads, people who own a home, find out how long they've owned the home, and now you have people that you can start sending a newsletter to every freaking month. And you will start getting more listings. It's not hard, ladies and gentlemen. It's just understanding what people want. That's it. That's all it comes down to.
I guess, what's that? Breaking down the fourth wall? Is that kind of what? That's
I have no idea. There's a lot of walls. There's a lot of walls I have to break down.
Yeah. Well, as you know, in the Agent Lead Source podcast, we want to give you the entire playbook, and you're seeing it right now. But we also like to relate that to what we're doing in our business as well. That's been a big it's been a big driver in our growth. People like that transparency. People like the fact that we're not charging them $5,000 a month to be part of our membership. That's a fantastic a benefit. People love that we're not talking. I was about to bring that topic that we were talking about earlier. It didn't feel right bringing that one in. So sorry, folks, that's an inside joke. So anyway, we won't get that inside with our sharing of knowledge. But when it comes to documenting and sharing what you're doing, think about it. You're not going outside of your means. You're not going outside of your skill set. You're not going outside of whatever you're doing right now. You're just documenting. And it goes exactly to what Joseph and I are doing this very second. Joseph knows this stuff because he does that and helps agents with that. I know how to do this stuff because what Joseph has mentioned, I've been relatively successful in my niche when it comes to YouTube. So we're talking about something that we already know. We're documenting this in a way through podcast, whether that's the Facebook Live. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, you're watching this on YouTube, which actually becomes content for the channel. So this will get views a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So what we're doing right now is documenting and talking about what we know. we're not here talking about knitting. We're not here talking about anything else that we don't know anything about. Oh, check that out. Check that out.
Document everything, ladies and gentlemen, because people will watch this stuff. This will be on Instagram. Say hi if you watch this on Instagram later. So, that's a solid point. Like, if you're documenting what you're doing, Gary Vaynerchuk, I think we both follow, and some of his stuff is a little off the wall, but most of his stuff is pretty on point, Jaime. And I think you're right. If you're documenting everything that you're doing, people will be interested in it, especially if it relates to their life and their business, and them making money or saving money. All right, I'm going to stop talking, Jaime, because I'm getting way too excited about these strategies. I'm probably going to go share them with like 5,000 people right now because I want people to make money. I want people to make a better living and set themselves up.
Well, with that being said, that actually is a precursor to share our PayPal link. No, that's so what's happening right now is Pat is letting us know that it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you certainly can't stay on this broadcast. But as we get ready for the dismount, just want you to take something that you learned here and apply it. That's basically it. This is kind of how we end most podcasts, to be candid with you.
Yeah.
It's application. We can share strategies till we're blue in the face. We can show you commission checks till we're blue in the face. We can show you all these different strategies that are actively making you money. And I'll just hit you with some rapid fire. If you want to make, if you want to think about it this way, when it comes to YouTube, I think it'll at least boost you a little bit closer to getting on YouTube. YouTube literally pays you to prospect. You may be thinking, Jaime, that is a stupid thing to say, but it's not. YouTube pays you to prospect. So what I mean by that is when you make YouTube videos, you do have an opportunity to get monetized. That's fantastic. But you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time to enter the partners program in order for you to receive some revenue from YouTube. That's great. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is as you make videos, as you put out some content out there, there is no requirement, no barrier to entry to place affiliate links within your videos. So we talked about this several podcasts back, Joseph, but when I say that YouTube pays you to prospect, you are making videos, you're putting them on YouTube, and you're putting some affiliate links in the bottom of the description. So for me, I have several affiliates that are paying me handsomely at this point, 5 figures every single month. So
bada bing.
That's not bad. So just from affiliate links, this is just affiliate links. And what an affiliate link is, for those that are hearing that for the first time, is you're basically a digital salesperson for another company, another service, another product, where they'll pay you a commission if you ultimately, they pay you a commission if somebody purchases a product or somebody orders the service. That is YouTube paying you to prospect. You are getting the benefits of getting clients. That's a way that you generate business, but you're also getting some money along the way by people hitting on your affiliates. That's a whole nother podcast episode. But as we dismount, that's what I want you to think about. YouTube pays you to prospect.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. I think that you can think of so many different products that are out there, so many different companies you can partner with. By the way, you can also get sponsors for your YouTube channel, like your lender. Once you start growing your YouTube channel, hey, by the way, do you want to be a part of this? I'm marketing, first-time home buyers. I'm sorry, cut out there for a second. I'm marketing first-time home buyers programs, FHA programs. I'm marketing conventional loan programs. Do you want to have your contact information down below? So at the end of the video, I can say, hey, Tom, hey guys, if you need a great lender, I recommend Tom. He's down in the comments. He's going to help you out. He's a very helpful person. Tom can now be your sponsor. And so when we talk about affiliate links, it's not just getting paid immediately by these affiliate companies that you might work with, but it's also looking for people who might sponsor your channel with you. Your lender wants to work with you, right? Hey, I'm doing a video on refis. Do you want to be a part of that, right? And so as you look at these processes and talking about making money external, it's still part of real estate, but externally from selling a house or listing a house or finding buyers for a house, these are all things that Jaime is talking about that even you as a local real estate agent can benefit from if you do it the right way.
I dig it. I dig it. Joseph, this was an absolute blast. We could go on for 3 more hours, but
For sure.
we're not going to. So this is the Agent Lead Source podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to see you next week.
Go get your listings. Go get your buyers. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jaime.
Thank you. Bye.